What is going on, fight fans? We have another development update here from Steel City Interactive. We know that you've been wondering what's been happening since the .7 update, so we've gotten the team together to share what we've been working on and what you can expect next. Here with us, we have Ash Habib, the CEO and creative director, as well as Tom Miles, the studio lead here at Steel City Interactive. So, first question right off the bat, how did the .7 update go?
Yeah, 0.7 went really well. In general, fans really liked it. We've had a lot of new players, and a lot of existing players came back to play 0.7 as well. We got a lot of feedback, both positive and areas of improvement that we already knew that we wanted to work on, and we've taken a lot of that back to the team. And some of those areas that are known, like punch physics and areas of your defense, we know that overall balance has been an issue as well. So we weren't surprised with the comments and some of the feedback, but in general, like really well. And it's really helped us kind of define some of the next steps that we wanted to take.
That fan input has been super critical during the early access period. What are we going to be doing with that feedback? What are we actually going to be presenting to them in this next update?
Early access is really important for us precisely for that reason. We want to continually improve the game. We've done that over the previous updates with, general balancing, introducing new features like the flat-footed movement. But the in-ring action, we felt like it's kind of missed the mark in certain spaces. So we've spent a lot of time now trying to, rebalance and
Yeah, I like the lighting. The
essentially
lighting
make
looks better.
that part of the game feel much better.
It does look a
So
little
yeah,
better. A
we've been
little
working
better.
really hard on improving these key areas, and heading towards our full release on console and PC. So whilst this feedback has been pretty invaluable, we've also got a new group of beta testers essentially that have been testing the latest version of the game, and we're delighted to say that it's had an overwhelmingly positive reaction to the changes that we've made. So yeah, we're looking forward to sharing that with you all.
That sounds fantastic.
My thing is the beta testers, are they actually boxing fans, or are they fighting game fans? It's a big difference. And that's what's going to make the game be better than what it is. I don't care if you bring boxers in there to see the game, because from my experience, because y'all always treat me like I don't know what I'm talking about. From my experience, when a boxer come into the studio, I ask questions. When boxers come into the studio, they're just happy it's a boxing game being made. They're not thinking about actually the mechanics and stuff. To them, it's a boxing game. A lot of these boxers still talking about Mike Tyson Punch Out, and that didn't have good boxing mechanics. It was a boxing game. That's it. So I'm gonna keep speaking on it. A lot of y'all gonna get mad at it. I know a lot of y'all be like, "Oh, here go Paul again. Here you go." I want a boxing game. We're not kids. You're not making a game for kids, little kids. We are grown-ups. I grew up with the first boxing game, Activision Boxing. Actually, it was a game before that, but I'm gonna just say Activision Boxing. When I was young, I saw this game and I seen how games progress and some of them regressed. And to me, Undisputed has something beautiful in ESBC, and then they start regressing a little bit. So how can you say we're building on? How you building on something when it seems like you're going backwards? But I like what I'm seeing now.
Let's talk about some of those changes.
Sure. So one of the areas we've been working on is just the way the punches look, and how they feel in the game. And based on the multitude of fighters we've got in the game, all the different punch sets, the move sets, we realized that like they're not all particularly polished. So we've gone back and reworked a number of punches, so that they feel better, they land better, combinations kind of look smoother. and it just feels more of a fluid and dynamic game, and ultimately more rewarding. So there's been plenty of specific punches that we've been looking at where we felt one or two might be a little bit overpowered, like the backstep.
Yeah, I like what I'm seeing on the punches. Just that little things they have to fix. A lot of I'm seeing in comments. I looked at some comments before I actually watched the video, and some people saying, "Oh, the punches still look bad." No, they look much better. Not the way they should, but they look much better. And I, what a lot of these guys they use Fight Night as the blueprint or the template of what a boxing game should be. No, it's not. Fight Night champion and Fight Night round four, the punches was exaggerated. So stop saying that's realistic. It wasn't realistic. It was arcade. It was a little arcade and a little sim. But stop saying that they were more realistic. You just want everything to look like a slugger. Everybody don't punch like a slugger. Everybody don't punch like Mike Tyson. Everybody not heavy-handed. And not all punches make your head snap wild and crazy and stuff. Stop it. Do your research.
Straight, for example, or the body uppercut. And we've also made some nuanced changes as well with the actual fighter physics. So, for example, we've been
Yeah, I like that slip
adjusting the
that
distance
Atoro
between
Gotti just
fighters
did. It
just so
looking
that
it
punches
looking
can land
better.
cleanly. And when it feels like you really landed a clean shot, we wanted that to feel devastating because that's how it is in boxing, right? When someone lands a
Yeah,
big shot,
follow through
you're going to be able
punches.
to feel that, and
The
that's
punches
something that
gotta
we've been
look
really
like they
focused on
going through
because
something.
some of the
Stop
feedback we've
using
been
them
getting from the game is
pads.
that whilst
Stop
it is a
using them
very
hand
technical game,
pads for motion
the
capture. Let
the
them
actual
boxers throw
big knockouts
punches
and the big
that
shots
go
don't
through.
always come
And
across
don't
that
tell
way.
me I don't know
So
what
we've spent a
I
lot of time
did
essentially making
mocap
those
when I had ripped
punches
my
look better,
shoulder
those reactions look
at a
better as well. But I think
sports
more
facility.
importantly, we've
I
improved
know
the
how
underlying system
mocap works.
that kind of use all of that as base. So everything from the physics, how the fighters move, the punch targeting. So we've really gone into the really granular
Yeah,
level
looking
to
a
make
lot
sure that
better.
the game feels good, it plays good, and it's satisfying when you punch somebody in the face.
Those changes sound fantastic. I've really seen the community voice their concerns about this. So it's really cool to see that, we've been making these changes in the game. Another concern that I've seen
Could
with
we
the
get
community is in
tendencies?
regards to the impacts of punches on stamina and how that impacts the rest of the fight, or how that impacts the fight as it's happening. What are we doing to actually improve that part of the game?
One of the things we really want to do is show the damage that players are causing to their opponents. Also, we really want to make sure that players are conscious of the punches they're throwing, right? So, one of the things we've done is we've improved the fighter physics system, which is tied to the state that fighters are in during the fight, which means that fighters are visibly more unsteady and when they're in low stamina or low health states. What that does is it really kind of amplifies that when you punch someone, it's really having an impact on someone. We've also overhauled our arm fatigue system, which punishes players for throwing excessive same hand punches in a short space of time. In the live game, players who do this see their punch speed increasingly slow. We didn't think that felt authentic, so we made it so the amount of recovery frames between each punch animation increases. Means there's still an opportunity for their opponent to counter. Means that punches still look and feel realistic. We've also made it so gas fighters also use arm fatigue as well.
That's really amazing to see and hear,
Yeah, I like
because
what I'm saying.
regarding that arm fatigue, the overhaul to the arm fatigue system, it just makes it look better aesthetically. It helps with the gameplay flow, but it also keeps people from spamming one punch over and over and over again. So I absolutely love that change that has been made when it comes to the arm fatigue system. So what can you tell us about the player's ability to punish mistakes and the improvements on how the punch impacts feel?
So, look, that's a super important aspect of the game. I feel like with Undisputed in the current live build, it is almost too free flowing, where at times it can look a little bit rock'em sock'em, where those impactful punches aren't really making a huge difference to the opponent. So we really wanted to change them in
Start
a more
showing this
so that
ESBC
it's more of a
movement.
controlled
This
experience in
not this
terms of
new.
like if you're getting
Okay,
hit
that's
during
that's that's what I'm
you
talking
throwing a
about.
punch and you've been hit with a
Unless
big
y'all trying to
counter,
play
like
us.
that should stop you in your tracks. And I think the current build
But this
didn't
this what
really
it looked like
show
back
that very
when
effectively.
everybody was
So
happy.
we've made some changes where counter punches are more impactful. You do have to think about what punch you're going to throw next, and you won't just continually be able
See,
to throw
the right
punches
hands.
whilst you're getting
Everybody
hit.
shouldn't throw the right
So
hand the
that's
same
that's
way.
a big improvement
You
we
need to
feel that
get
we've made to
somebody
the
in there
game.
throwing different versions
But
of
not
the right
only that, in
hands.
terms of the in-ring
Everybody
mechanics,
don't throw
we've
their
also
right hand the
changed,
same way.
the
They hook
camera
the same
angles
way.
and some
They
of the
jab
visual
the same way. They
effects. So
uppercut.
I'm pleased to say there's
Many
a new
things
clock
that
camera,
y'all missing.
which
Move
essentially is more
sets.
of an
Add move
in-action
sets.
camera, which really shows some of
Or
the visual
more
effects
move
around
sets
punches,
and
especially power
tendencies. I'm
punches
gonna keep
and counter
saying
punches as well. And it just feels more cinematic, where you can really see the sweat flying off,
it.
the
Okay.
ripples in the skin when the punch lands. So it's just a more engaging experience. But also, we're not removing anything, right? So if you still prefer the zoomed out view, then you can absolutely play with that.
Yeah, all of that sounds absolutely amazing. It feels good when playing it as well. Tom, can you talk about things that have been worked on around punch reaction and blocking?
Yeah. So hit reactions have changed a lot. We've improved our fighter model physics, which means that we've added realistic secondary motion to fighters. You'll see this a lot when fighters get hit. The amount of movement also increases as fighters' stamina and health decreases, which means they're more reactive to a punch later in the fight, just like they are in real life. One of the things we've done is the box changed a little bit. So we've increased the block health regen and made it so that when someone blocks a punch, they now move as a result of it, as does the guard, which is a lot more realistic. When you're getting punched, and you block it, you do expect that you're going to move. We've also introduced more animated hit stuns and stumbles and increased the rate that those happen. So it's a lot more diversity of stuns, and we really think it helps sell the impact of well-placed punch.
Yeah, it's all like super fun and like the gameplay just feels fluid. I've
Yeah, it
actually
look
been
better now.
lucky enough
It
to
does look
play
more
this
fluid.
version of the game, and just my ability to slip and roll punches and then rely on my block and have that kind of the stamina kind of go up and then the block regen come up a little bit much more quicker than it did before. It just gives me this ability to kind of stop the checkmate that would sometimes happen,
Work on them
unfortunately, when playing
knockdowns
where how the
too.
live game is, where you can get the block
More
the
knockdowns or
block
more
stamina down
reactions to
all the
like
way
body
and your stamina
shots.
is low, and then
So
now you
many
can't really
different
move your head
things.
effectively, you can't block effectively, and then you have to deal with that. But one thing that's cool is that it's not just heavily focused on that. It also has a flip side to it, right? Because the stamina when it comes to punching, that's also being comes back much quicker as well. So it
Nice,
gives
nice.
the offensive fighter or the attacker more agency to choose how they do their offense, and the fun element of just kind of trying to like the
Mm.
chess match of trying to outmaneuver, outthink your opponent with those tools that are afforded to both the defensive fighter and the offensive fighter. I think it just makes the game. It almost changes the game, the meta of the game, and makes it really, really, really fun. So, with all that being said, will all of this stuff be in the 1.0 update when the game launches?
Yeah, I can confirm all the changes we've talked about just now will be in the launch version of Undisputed. I guess one of the key things around going from early access and even version one of the game is the fact that we will continue to update Undisputed. Even past obviously version one, and I guess the obvious thing with Undisputed is this is our first title as a studio, and essentially this is our first shot at a boxing game. And I think for us the key thing here is like this is an evolving game. We'll continue to make those improvements, listen to fan feedback, and we know everything's not going to be perfect. During this entire process, like there's franchises out there that have been going for
I know Ash and got other people saying it too, and actually I was saying it too, but I was saying it in the early stages of the game. 2 years ago, I was saying it that this is their first game. Ash got to also tell people how many times they had to restart because a person like me, I'm an adult. Don't give me kids to talk. That you restarted the game a couple of times and you had to do different things. You got to explain that to people because 4 years. When I do see 4 years going close to 5 years, I can look at EA when they first started making boxing games. They in a span of 4 to 5 years, they made 4 to 5 games, and I'm pretty sure at that period in time, they were not big like they are now. They wasn't a powerhouse like they are now. So a person like me is going to side eye you when you keep saying this is our first game. Love Seat Shorty is a one person, and he's making a boxing game with mechanics that Undisputed is missing. And these are the things I'm gonna keep saying as a conscious adult, paying attention to the climate of sports gaming and boxing. I like Ash. I really do like Ash. I like a couple of guys in the team. Some of them get on my nerve, but I like Ash. I respect Ash, even though it seemed like he dissed himself. But I like Ash. You know, stop using that.
decades, right? And they still make those improvements after each iteration. And this is our very first one, but we're very very happy,
Stop doing
delighted
that.
with the changes that we've made. Some of the feedback that we've been getting again from this change that we've made now, like reading comments and seeing comments like this is the best version of the game they've played, or this is the best boxing game that people are now playing. So it's really encouraging to see the changes we've made um, to Undisputed, and I can't wait for players to get their hands on the changes that we've made.
Yeah, that all sounds amazing. And the cool thing is that these are the core things that the community has been asking for in terms of the gameplay. They wanted that gameplay refined and kind of almost changed. And I think we got it to a point where we definitely are getting it to as close as to what they're.
This is the most exciting I've seen Boxing Fanatical about Undisputed since it first was brought out. This is the most excited I've seen him.
What they're asking for. But we got to keep it 100% here for the audience. And I'm looking right at the community. We are looking right at the community, and we want to know. They've asked for a lot of different things. What's not going to make it into the launch version of 1.0?
So look, we have had to make some tough choices for the launch version of the game. However, we will have a robust roadmap of free updates and paid DLC post-launch. And we're excited to share more about that with you soon.
Okay, that all sounds interesting. Can you go into a little bit more detail of what those things are exactly?
Sure. We've made again difficult decisions. One of those was we had to remove clinching from the game. So we know it's an integral part of boxing.
How can Love
players
See
only
Shorty
used
do
it
it?
intentionally, a fraction of the time. It also didn't look great, and it wasn't a very useful boxing tool as we would have liked. So, essentially we've replaced it with the push mechanic, which does give fighters that space, if they do need, to break up the fight, which is working pretty well right now. But with
This is the frustrating thing about it. You keep saying this is your first game, but I've seen a lot of games from back in the days. They have clinching in them. Knockout Kings has clinching in it. So quite a few. Actually clinching and fighting and fighting while you clinching, while you throwing punches while you clinching. And please, because I'm about to click it on. Please don't say there will not be a referee. There will not be no robes. There will not be no. Oh my goodness, walkout gear. Please tell. Please don't tell me that.
Regards to clinch, essentially we're going to go back to the drawing board, see how we can make it look better. And, because I feel like we've raised the bar quite high in many aspects of the game, clinch just wasn't cutting it. So, yeah, it's not something that we're scrapping, of course. We're essentially just going to go back and see how we can make it better before we put it back in the game.
We also won't have the vulnerability system on full launch. Like I said, we've had to take some really difficult decisions on what we actually put in. What we have done is really focused on improving the core experience of the game and how it feels to fight and how it feels to be in the ring. And unfortunately, that's one of the things that we had to put on the back burner.
Yeah, I mean, I know it wasn't easy to not have that stuff come into
It was easy, very easy.
but it's still good to hear that we're still considering those things and we're still working on those things on the back end.
Look, exactly. We're going to try and get as much of this stuff in Undisputed after launch. We've had to revisit, a few things, such as like the custom character creator share, gameplay sliders, even having the referee in the ring. So all of these, aspects and mechanics have been put into the game.
Gameplay sliders, just tendency sliders,
level of polish around them. So we're just going to take a little bit longer to introduce these post-launch.
So we've heard what's coming, and we know what's going to be saved for later. But the community is watching, Ash. The community is watching, so I have to ask you this question. They won't let me live it down if I don't ask you. When is this game coming out for consoles and PC as well for that 1.0 update or the 1.0 launch? When is that going to happen, Ash?
So look, I know I probably sound like a bit of a broken record when I give interviews as well. We can't reveal that today, but I guess the difference this time is we will have an update very soon. So make sure you stay tuned.
All right, that's all the time that we have today, but we're going to put some previews in here right at the end so you guys can see a clip. So don't go away. You're going to see a clip of previews of things that we've mentioned here in the roundtable, but things we also didn't mention, new things that will be coming to the 1.0 launch. I want to thank Ash, the CEO and creative director, as well as Tom Miles, the studio lead here at Steel City Interactive. And for you at home, enjoy.
After one round of boxing, your winner by knockout, Terrence Bud Crawford.
About time.
I'm a passion, I'm a fighter. I am everything you feel. Ask your questions.
Yeah. Cool head movement like that. Oh, that's nice. That combo flow, the speed, flurries. Yeah, I like what I'm seeing. Yeah, like that.